is never going to end. But what did I tell you at the beginning? Moods fluctuate, don't they? Feelings fluctuate. Moods swing. Just because you're feeling really bad right now, it may be something you're eating. I mean, look at all the chemicals in our food. You know, fight it. Don't give in to it. Or they may have maladaptive grief. Like I said, the older people have lost many people that they were friends with, their spouses, many times. I've seen one woman committed suicide with a gun after her daughter was murdered. Sometimes they just can't handle losing one of their loved ones. It can also be anger turned inward, hopelessness, desperation and guilt, aggression and violence, shame and humiliation. Remember, no matter what you've done, that memories fade. If you don't believe me, Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, well, we don't even think about that. At the time, it was a big deal. If I was him, I probably wouldn't go crawl under a table. But he's off making speeches, making money, done well, and you know, looks pretty good, you know, having a good life. Memories fade. Memories fade. Biological theories, genetics, neurochemical factors, but we really don't know. We don't know what causes depression. Again, I think there are a lot of chemicals in our food personally. I think sometimes you just need some Lexapro for a while, you know, to help you, you know, Lexapro's great. Sometimes you just need help temporarily until you can get through the situation. Okay, if you think somebody is suicidal, you don't want to leave them alone. At the hospital, we always do a no suicide contract. I don't know if they're already mentally unbalanced. Just so you know that I and Catherine Jett have doubted the helpfulness of no suicide contracts, because we had one time that signed one and then went out smiling, and it wasn't 4 hours that he blew his brains out in front of the hospital doors. True story. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. True story. So you can sign anything, you know, and go right ahead and do it. Get help with family and friends. Make sure they're keeping their appointments with their physicians and with their psychiatrists. Establish rapport and promote a trusting relationship. Many times they need to talk. Be direct, talk matter-of-factly about suicide. In other words, don't deal with the elephant in the room. You know, don't be afraid to talk about it. Discuss their current crisis situation. Help remind them of areas they can control. And they must always take the antidepressant meds. Now, I know that it does take 2 to 3 weeks sometimes for those meds to kick in. So you don't want to leave them by themselves, or, you know, you want to keep contact with them during the period of time when they're starting to take the medication. And you want to help the client or the person that's suicidal develop more effective methods of coping and ensure follow-up appointments. Well, take any hint of suicide seriously. Don't keep secrets. Be a good listener. Express feelings of personal worth to the client. Know about suicide intervention resources. Restrict access to firearms or other means of self-harm. You want to always acknowledge and accept the person's feelings. Provide a feeling of hopefulness. Don't leave them alone. Show love and encouragement. Help them get professional help. Get the children out of the home. You know, Andrea Yates is one of the most famous people I know of for killing her children. Do not judge or show anger toward the person or provoke guilt in him or her. Because, you know, there before the grace of God go I. We don't know what we would feel or be if we were in that same situation. Main thing is to listen. Listen non-judgmentally. You want them to develop a more positive self-concept, learn ways to express their feelings, achieve successful relationships, and feel accepted by others. And I do think bullying in our schools is a problem. We do not tolerate that here in our environment. All you have to do is go to Dr. Coleman, or you can come and talk to me, and we will deal with it. We do not want anybody bullied at Baptist Health College. We want everybody to be accepted, and we want you to belong. Okay? There's room for everyone here. You may not think the world needs you, but it does. You're unique. We all have different fingerprints. None of us are exactly the same. We were fearfully and wonderfully made by God. No one can speak with your voice, say your piece, smile or shine your light. No one can fill your place where it's yours to fill. The goal is to find your passion and make it your purpose. You're alive for a reason. Suicide, again, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. A permanent solution to a temporary problem. You can be feeling horrible. How many of y'all had the flu? You thought you were going to die? You might have even said, I just can't take this. But what happened? You rested, you drank fluids, you had chicken soup, and you got to feeling what? Better, right? Better. Feelings fluctuate and are deceptive. Feelings fluctuate and are deceptive. Moods swing. Things and situations do change. There's always a way out without resorting to taking your life. Do not consider a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Let me say that again. Do not consider a permanent solution for a temporary problem. You cannot be replaced. Everybody got their bracelet on? You cannot be replaced. I cannot be replaced. Read your bracelet. Your story's not over yet. Think, pause, you're not alone. And I've seen people get the semicolon as a tattoo, and one of my students had that, and I said, what is that? She said one of her friends had killed herself. And she got that in her memory. Where do you go for help? You have a handout, but there's also the Arkansas Crisis Center, if you want to write that on there, 888-274-7472. There's other numbers there right below. Arkansas Children's .org has injury prevention websites, National Institute of Health, Mental Health, Crisis Text Line, National Suicide Prevention Line I gave to you with an online chat option that's available. Dr. Hope Coleman, you have her card, and then references. Any questions?
Right now, and I know some people say, well, what in the world do I do with this? So, you can leave it out for now because we're actually going to refer to this over the next hour, but eventually you'll put it on your badge, and this is something that will stay with you on your badge here at the college, and then also when you go over to do clinical. So this is a great piece of information because it's a tiny little piece of paper with a lot of info about Baptist Health. So you'll see our mission, our values, even our strategic plan through 2020. So you'll see our 3 steps of service. We're going to be going over a lot of this today. Does anyone need one? All right, so we'll come back around and hand these out. You may want to keep your hand up. This will be your exercise for the day. I'm Katie Swearingen, and I'm a member of the organizational development team at Baptist Health. Really glad to be with you today. Is this your first day? That's pretty exciting, right? Okay, so give yourself a hand. Come on. Am I the only one excited for you? Like, I'm looking at future nurses. I'm very excited because you're going to be taking care of me one day. That's Allied Health. That's right. Woohoo! This is Katie as well. We have 2 people, 1 name, super easy to remember. She's our intern this summer, so she's going to help out. If you need a Credo card, Katie has them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is best training. So when we think about Baptist Health, when we think about the competition that we have, just in Central Arkansas, who can name the competition? UAMS, St. Vincent, Children's, the VA, yeah, so really any other healthcare organization, for sure. Who else might be our competition? Private clinics, okay. What about restaurants? Would they be our competition? Why are they our competition? Because we hire nutrition and food services staff, right? So we compete with restaurants for talent. What about information systems companies? Can we compete with them? Yeah, same deal there. We're actually competing for talent. So when we think about being the best organization for our employees, for our patients, we really want to be strategic about doing that because we want to beat the competition in every way we can. So this is the training today. We're going to start off with our huddle. So how many of y'all are sports fans? Any sports fans? What do y'all like to watch? What team sports do you watch? College basketball. What teams do you like? Please say Razorbacks. Okay, good. What else do you like to watch? Football. Football? Baseball? LSU. Oh, LSU fans in the house. All right, so when you think about sports teams, they all huddle, right? Why do they huddle? They huddle at halftime, before game, timeouts. Why do they huddle? What's their purpose? All right, to make a plan, to unify the team. What else?
Strategy.
Yeah, get a strategy together. What else? I heard another one, but yeah, to uplift each other, to motivate one another. Absolutely. So at Baptist Health, we do huddles for the exact same reason that the sports teams do. We want to get a strategy together. We want to get a game plan together. We want to make sure that we understand what we're supposed to do and our teammates are supposed to do so that we're not duplicating efforts. We want to make sure that we're motivating our team. Sometimes that's our leader, the coach, who's motivating us. Sometimes it's each other. So you all are going to do your first huddle. I do want you to stand up. You don't have to move. Just stand up. And today's huddle is an engagement focus. So at Baptist Health, we are trying to build an engaged workforce. And an engaged employee is committed to, they're enthusiastic, and basically they just love their work. Okay? So we're trying to build a culture of engagement. So one of the talking points and one of the elements of engagement is my supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person. So care about me, human connections matter. People don't just bring a pair of hands to work, they bring their whole self. And that includes the part that needs interaction with other people. The fabric of our lives is constructed person by person, and when employees have trusted relationships, their lives become richer. Great managers build caring and respectful relationships at work to strengthen their team's performance. The most effective teams make each person feel valued, respected, and genuinely cared about as a person. So we all want that, right? According to our latest employee engagement survey, so each year we ask our employees what they think about certain engagement elements. So last year, this engagement element, 63% of our employees rated this the highest response. So that was a 5. So that's really considered a strength when you look at that. Building on this strength will not only positively impact our own morale, but it will improve performance, and the patients will feel that culture of care among their caregivers. Have you ever been in a hospital setting, maybe as a patient or a guest, and you could tell whether or not your healthcare providers like to work with each other? Like, do they really care about one another? Do they really get along? Did my mic go out? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think people can really tell whether or not team members care about one another and enjoy being with each other. So we want to create a culture where we do. Best practices for that, we want to reinforce each employee's strengths and the value that he or she brings to the team. Tell your teammates how and why you value their contribution, just like any good sports team might do. I mean, if the quarterback's doing a really great job, the other team members may say, thanks for catching that pass. Or do they throw it? What does the quarterback do? Sorry, I never played football. Can you tell? But you're going to make sure and communicate the value of that team member. Encourage people to share their ideas and opinions with one another and be an active listener. Address each person's concerns and model supportive behavior during times of change or turbulence. I will tell you that healthcare is a change of moment. Baptist Health is no different. So there are going to be changes. There are changes now. There will be changes as you move through your education and do your clinicals. So you want to be ready for that and really be supportive. The quote for the day comes from Steve Jobs, and he says, a lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them. That's why he was so successful. Did any of us know that we wanted an iPhone? And now a lot of us can't live without it. So oftentimes we have to anticipate those needs and create those things, especially with our patients. So in closing, we usually end huddles with all our best begins with me. And so we'll say me together as loud as you possibly can. Okay, are you ready? All our best begins with me. Nice job. All right, you can sit down. So I apologize, my mic battery, I guess, went out, so I'm not going to be able to be mobile. So if you have your Freedom card out, I'd like for you to go ahead and just flip this open. And we're going to start off with Baptist Health's mission.
I'm so excited.
So it's on this tab right here, very first one. So Baptist Health exists to provide quality patient-centered services, promote and protect the voluntary, not-for-profit healthcare system, provide quality health education, that's y'all, and respond to the changing health needs of the citizens of Arkansas with Christian compassion and personal concern consistent with our charitable purpose. Whew, lots to do at Baptist Health, right? So when you look at that mission, is there any part that stands out to you? Is there any part that you look at and you say, yeah, I really connect with that? And if so, what is it? Yeah, responding to those changing health needs. So that's one that really speaks to me. I actually like change, and so if something is the same way for too long, I'll just change it. So when you think about the needs of Arkansans and just the needs of healthcare in general, those things are changing drastically. And when we think about an organization providing those services, we want to make sure that we're on the proactive side of that. We don't want to wait for the changes to happen and then be reactive. We want to make sure that we're anticipating those changes. So, I mean, there are changes to the type of health care received, where it's received, how it's received, the financial component of it. So there are a lot of changes occurring, and we want to be proactive, and I feel like Baptist Health does. What else do you connect with? I think someone said quality, I heard. Yeah. So why does that stand out to you? Or anyone that would have selected that? Quality health education. Y'all are benefiting from that right now, aren't you? I mean, y'all are just now getting started. So that's something that we take great pride in. There have been a lot of changes here at Baptist Health College. Even the name, it used to be Baptist Health Schools, and now it's college. So there's a lot to be proud of in terms of the education that you all are able to get. So I'm really excited for you all and proud of you all. What else stands out to you in this mission? Let's do one more. Yeah, Christian compassion. Why does that stand out to you?
I just think that's a very important thing to have, and especially when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah, for sure. So when you think about Baptist Health, you don't have to be a Baptist to work at Baptist Health or go to Baptist Health College. You don't have to be a Christian to work here or go to school here. We do expect for you to have the kind of compassion that we felt like Jesus modeled when he was here. So when you think about just the stories in the Bible of how Jesus served others and how he, mentored others and taught others, and we really want to make sure that we're doing that same thing with our patients and their guests and with each other as well. We have that same kind of compassion, that same level. So if you look at our belief statement, Baptist Health is more than a business. It is a healing ministry. Our healing ministry is based on the revelation of God through creation, the Bible, and Jesus Christ. At Baptist Health, care of the whole person, body, mind, and spirit is an expression of Christian faith. We're instruments of God's restorative power and are responsible for giving compassionate care. Oftentimes we'll see miracles happen at Baptist. Someone comes in and they're sick and hurting and in pain, and we see them walk away healed. And we know that God has given us that opportunity to be instruments of his miracle. We know that he's the one doing it. But to be able to serve in a role where we can be instruments of that is pretty powerful. So again, you don't have to be a Baptist or a Christian to work here. But our culture, when it comes to just looking at Baptist Health culture and what you can expect, there may be times that you're in meetings or you may start a huddle with prayer. There may be a time where scripture is shared. There may be a time when you're working with a patient and you feel led to pray with them. And if you feel like you want to do that, you totally can. You will never be forced to do that or pressured to do that at all. But if you feel led to do that and you share that same value, if you feel led to share scripture with a patient to just kind of calm their spirit, you're totally welcome to do that. You're free to do that. We talk to new employees a lot, and so when they are coming from an organization where they're not able to do that to an organization where they can, they feel very free to do that. So no pressure, but it's an openness if you feel led to do that. These are our values: service, honesty, respect, stewardship, and performance. We have 5 values, and there's not one that's any more important than the other. We do talk a lot about service, and we talk a lot about creating that culture of service and serving our patients, their visitors, and each other. I want to talk a little bit about stewardship because sometimes that's a hard one to understand. Anybody have a good definition for stewardship that they want to blurt out? All right, so I'm going to give us a real easy definition. So stewardship is basically taking care of what we have. So when you think about healthcare, there's a lot of equipment, supplies, talents, skill that goes into doing what you do, right? You may not know that day one, but you'll learn. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So when we think about stewardship, we want to make sure that we're being really mindful of our resources and using them wisely. The interesting thing about Baptist Health is that we are a not-for-profit organization. So what does that mean? Do we want to make a profit? Yeah, we'll take the profit. Oh yeah, we want to make money. But at the end of the year, the money that we make, guess where it goes? Back into the organization. So it doesn't go to shareholders, it doesn't go to the president and CEO, it doesn't go to board members. Anything made, any kind of profit made at the end of the year will go back into the organization. So when you think about that as it relates to stewardship, if we're taking care of our equipment and our resources wisely, then we're probably going to have more money at the end of the year. It's just like a family budget, right? And so then that money will go back into the organization. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for students? What does it mean for employees?
Resources.
Yeah, more resources. Probably better equipment when needed, upgrades, possibly more staff. That's always needed in healthcare. So we want to make sure that that stewardship is elevated. It's kind of a what's in it for us, and we will get a lot in return. All right, let's take a look at, oops, sorry about that. I want to take a look at service in terms of serving people who come into our organization. Okay, so you all have all been customers before, right? So I want you to put your customer hat on, and what we're going to do is I want you to think about, I'm going to flash some logos up here. You've already seen the first one. You've probably been a customer at many of these organizations, and I want you to think about what's worked for you. What hasn't worked for you? What did you like? What did you not like when it comes to service? And how can we learn from that experience as we relate it to healthcare? Okay? So here's the first one, Chick-fil-A. Y'all been to Chick-fil-A? All right, so like it, don't like it, tell me your story. Love it. Okay, I'm hearing the word love. That's a really strong word. Anybody else love Chick-fil-A? Okay, I'm getting some hands. So, what do you love about Chick-fil-A? What works for you? The customer service. What about the customer service works for you? Okay, everyone gets treated equal. So each customer that comes in, they are a guest in that restaurant. Yeah, very good. What else?
They're generous.
They're generous. Tell me about that.
So each Chick-fil-A employee has a customer of the day. I've been made a customer of the day before, so I really reap the benefit there.
What do you get?
You get a free meal. Like, my debit card, and I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, oh, you work at Golden Search? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, well, like, I'll just make you my customer of the day. So I don't charge him for drinks.
Oh my goodness. Mutually beneficial right there.
So if he makes me his customer of the day, then I can save him $2.
Awesome. That is so fantastic. Okay, so my new goal in life is to be customer of the day at Chick-fil-A, Katie. Okay, awesome. What else? What works for you? What do you like? What is it? Their lemonade is so good. And you know they have diet and regular. That's where my first job was Chick-fil-A. And so I know all of the like ingredients. So good. Yeah. All right, what else? What do you like? What do you not like?
They're resourceful.
They're resourceful.
A lot of people don't know, but they take their cups and the material that their cups made out of, they refurbish it and make it into park benches.
Really? I'm learning so many interesting things. Oh, you did? So there's a video on YouTube?
It was actually on Facebook going around, but yes, it's from YouTube.
Yeah, so very resourceful. Sounds like very environmentally friendly, which is a great thing. So I too think they're resourceful, and one of the things that I've noticed is that when there's a long line outside, like the drive-through line, what do? They come outside with an iPad, with a menu, and they start putting your order in. So they will come up to your car window. So they have not built another lane. They have not built a bigger building. They simply use the resources they have, and they come to you. That's very innovative. You know, I think of Chick-fil-A and I'm like, wow, they're figuring these things out with the resources they have. Very good. Anything else? So when you go to the Chick-fil-A on Markham, and then you go to the Chick-fil-A on Highway 10, and then you go to the Chick-fil-A up in Fayetteville, are they pretty consistent? Yeah. So what can we learn from that? Because when you think about Baptist Health, we have 9 hospitals, lots of clinics. We actually have close to 200 points of access, and that means that you can get into a Baptist Health facility about 200 different ways. Do you think consistency is important? Yeah. We've got patients that will start in Arkadelphia, and they'll be med flighted into Little Rock. Do we want that to be a smooth, consistent experience for them? Yeah. So we want to make sure that every experience that our patient has, it's that Baptist Health feel. That we're caring for that patient the same way. No matter how they get into Baptist Health, we want to make sure that that care is very, very consistent. So I think that's something we can learn from Chick-fil-A. They are very consistent. They've got standards, and they elevate those standards by communicating about them. I don't know if they do huddles, but huddles is one way that we communicate our standards, because everyone at Baptist Health, every shift, every team will do this huddle, and they'll be getting the same information. So that's one way we try to reach that level of consistency. Very good. Okay. Let's go to the next one here. What do you like? What do you not like? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? And how can we learn from your experiences?
It's only 2 lines open.
Inconsistent. Okay. Inconsistent. So you go into one Walmart and you may see some products. And then you go into another Walmart thinking there might be the same, or even the layout might be the same, and it's not. Okay. What else? Not enough cashiers. Let's go there for a moment. Let's go there. So you walk into Walmart, and there are like 40 lanes, right? There are 40 lanes. Like if you go to a super center, so there are like 20 on this side, 20 on this side. They're numbered, so you know there are like 40 lanes. So you walk in, let's say it's your first time at Walmart, I know that's none of us, but let's just go there, and you think, oh my gosh, I have 40 different ways that I can check out. Like I can go wherever I want in the store, I can fill up my basket, and I can go to any of these checkout lanes and get through so fast because there are 40. There are 40 lanes, right? And then you get up to the checkout, and what happens? There are 3 open on a good day, okay? 3. So all of a sudden, you are made to wait in line. So your expectations have just been dwindled, right? So when you think about healthcare, do our patients have to wait? Yeah. Do they come in with certain expectations? And are those expectations dwindled at times? Yeah, are our patients used to healthcare? I mean, when they walk in our doors, do they know what to expect? A lot of them don't. A lot of them just coming to Little Rock, they may come from some small town in Arkansas that literally the Little Rock Hospital may be bigger than their hometown. So they walk in and they're like, what in the world do I do next, right? So when we think about, let's go to wait times. When we think about wait times, let's say that Miss Smith has an appointment. And we call Miss Smith and say your appointment's at 3 on Wednesday, we'll see you there. So Miss Smith arrives at our parking lot, maybe 5 till 3, parks, walks really far. Gets to the waiting room, aren't we glad we call it that? Gets to the waiting room, checks in, and the receptionist said, oh, Miss Smith, yes, we have 9 pages of paperwork for you to fill out, including we need a copy of your insurance card. If you'd like to sit in our waiting room to do this, that would be great. And Miss Smith is like, what, 9 pages? Oh my gosh. So she starts filling it out, 10 minutes later, takes her paperwork up, finally gets back to the exam room, has her test, okay, Miss Smith has her test, and she's thinking, oh, it's 2017, I should get the results like immediately. And then what happens? We'll call you when the results come back in 3 weeks. 3 weeks? She didn't anticipate that. So it's just like us going up to Walmart cashiers being like, you know, there's 3 open over here, I parked over here, this is not working. Okay, Miss Smith is thinking, this is not working. Like, my expectations were not like this at all. So what can we do differently with Miss Smith?
Set her expectations beforehand.
Yeah, who said that? Yeah, help her manage her expectations beforehand. So you remember that call we had with Miss Smith? Maybe do a little bit of education with her. You know, if you would like to fill out your paperwork in the comfort of your own home, we would be happy to mail that to you. There are 9 pages, front and back. We can make a copy of your card when you get here. You might want to arrive about 15 minutes early because it might be about a 5-minute walk. By the way, the test result takes 3 weeks. You might want to know that. So educate Miss Smith. Once we educate and help manage those expectations, she will have realistic expectations. She will come in knowing, oh, okay, I got this, we're good. I know exactly what to expect. Just like if we walked in Walmart and they only had 3 lanes built, we'd be like, all right, we'll manage our time around 3 lanes. So kind of the same idea there. Anything else about Walmart? Like, don't like? Yeah, so self-checkouts, some do, some don't. Going back to the inconsistency, there was one, I think it was the one up at Bowman, that's pretty close to here. I don't think they have self-checkouts. And I went on my lunch break one day, and I said, do you have any self-checkouts? Because no lanes are open. And I'm not real vocal, but like when I'm in a hurry, I get vocal. And so I was like, I need to check out, like, do you have self-checkout? They're like, no, we don't have any. I said, well, where are all your people who are checking people out? They said, they're on their lunch break. I said, I'm on my lunch break too, trying to get stuff. Poor timing. So yeah, it's helpful when they have them, for sure. And when you have a 10-year-old who can help you scan stuff. I have the best self-scanner. You know him, my Luke. He's a good self-scanner. Okay, let's go to this one, Apple. What do you like? What do you not like? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? And what can we learn from them? Cracked phones? Ooh, terrible customer service. Really? What's terrible about it?
They charge.
10 years? They take 10 years to answer you back? That's a whole decade. Okay. All right, so she might have been exaggerating a little bit. She's gone down to 8 or 9 years. Okay, so it takes a while. They do charge for everything.
Yeah, they charge for service calls.
They charge for service calls?
Yeah. If you have an issue with the computer or something, you don't pay for Apple, whatever, you don't get service help.
Ooh, okay. So you get what you pay for. Okay, not an all-inclusive thing. You can? You cannot. Okay, so you can't return items at just any store. We always learn things the hard way. Yeah. Okay, good to know. There's one back here. It is expensive, yeah. So they've got, a business model that's working for them because they're making some good money. They change their phone and all of the accessories that go with it very, very frequently. Yeah. So how many of y'all have been out to the Apple store? Okay. So you probably learned the hard way that you have to make an appointment? Yeah, which is kind of interesting. You know, it's in the promenade, so you're thinking, I don't have to make an appointment to go into Bath & Body Works and smell fragrances. Why would I have to make an appointment, you know, for someone to look at my phone? Very true. Or Big Orange. So, I think usually when we talk about Apple, there's some inconsistencies. Some people really love it, and they've kind of figured out their business model, and some people, it's very frustrating to them. So we kind of have mixed reviews, which doesn't go well with the whole level of consistency. So what about the innovation? Like when it comes to, you know, Steve Jobs told us today that sometimes people don't even know what they want until you show them. So what can we learn from them just in terms of like anticipating needs? In terms of like looking to the future and being innovative, being proactive about changes. I mean, there may be some things in healthcare that you can actually provide of service to your patients or their entourage, and they may not even know to ask for it. But when you can offer that level of service, we've really hit the mark. All right, let's go to the next one. I like that. So I just do not get this one. Okay, so you go to McDonald's and literally they have ice cream on the menu. Is that right? Ice cream is on the menu in print. Yet the machine is always broken. Always. I hear this. Okay. So I don't know how that happens. Like, just take it off the menu. Right? What else about McDonald's? Bad customer service. What happens?
Yeah, they give out extra.
Yeah, so they're mad about being at work, and you know that. Like, you as a customer, like, you feel their pain, okay? So, maybe not the engaged workforce that we're trying to create here. I'll tell you what, someone said rude. Okay, so when you think about that at McDonald's or a restaurant or a retail organization or whatever, you know, we see that level of disengagement, and I think, okay, I can put up with that. Like, I might go back, especially if the ice cream machine's working. Like, I might go back. It's pretty transactional. I'm not going to worry about it. What if that happened in healthcare? It does. Hopefully not a Baptist. But what if that happened in healthcare? What if your healthcare provider came in and was rude and was mad about being at work and showed you? I would say, I'm running to the competition. Like, we just named the competition earlier here in this hour. I would say, peace out, I'm done. This is my health. Like, I only want people in my hospital room who are going to be engaged and really care about helping me out. Like, you're rude? Bye. Like, I have left healthcare providers before because they were borderline rude. Not even to my face rude, just borderline. I said, bye. I'm done. This is my healthcare. So when we think about these organizations and we think about the different experiences we've had, good, bad, in between, inconsistent, mediocre, you know, whatever it is, oftentimes we can say, all right, you know, we still go back. I'll still go back to Walmart sometimes. But in healthcare, it's so much more important. So when we think about Baptist Health, this is your brand. And, you know, the experiences that we have at any organization are as good as the people there. We're the ones having the interactions with our patients and their entourage. We're the ones who are providing those services. And so we want to make sure that we are creating those positive experiences. There's a pyramid here that kind of shows the different level of service. So that first level is just expected level of service. So when you're going into a healthcare organization, what would be just expected level of service? What are some things you'd be looking for just from a foundation standpoint? Just basic. Yeah, whether or not it's clean. It's okay, y'all can read the slide, I'm cool with that. Yeah, so whether or not it's clean. What else? Yeah, if they're engaged, if the people there actually, you know, they're competent in what they're doing, they care about what they're doing. Good. They're respectful. Yeah. Yeah, they're knowledgeable. They know what they're doing. right? So these are just base level expectations. When patients come to us, they're kind of at their wit's end. They're kind of like, okay, I can't help myself any longer, that's why I'm here. So there's that basic level of service of, I'm going to come to you, you're a medical professional, you know what to do to fix me. Okay, so kind of base level. These are things that as a patient leaves and they tell their story, they're probably not going to mention these things. Okay, so they're not going to go out and say, y'all, I was at Baptist last week for a knee operation, and guess what? They operated on the correct knee. I was so excited! I will totally go back and you should go there too. You're not going to hear that. So you know that these patients, they tell their stories, right? And as we move up this pyramid, there's more to the story. Where do they usually tell their stories? Social media. Yeah. Unfiltered, right? They will talk about their experiences. Yeah, at church, in social settings, at the grocery store, wherever there's a listening ear, they will tell their stories. So as we move up the pyramid, this is when the details get in. That next level of service is just requested. So this is kind of our level of responsiveness. So they ask for something, we give it. They ask for something, we give it. Pretty transactional. So what are some things that you think patients might ask for? Yep, meds.
Good communication.
Yeah, good communication. Probably education, information. Very good. What else? Pillows, blankets, comfort. Apparently mamas having babies like juice. Anybody here going to be working with on the OB unit? Is that what they call it? Mamas apparently like juice. The ones who are having babies, they like juice. So they might ask for that, and we give it. So, you know, kind of like mid-level service there. It's one of those things where it's pretty transactional. I think what our patients and their entourage are looking for here is there a sense of urgency, or is there a sense of importance? Like, do they see us attending to their needs pretty quickly and with a level of importance? So I think that's something that we can keep in mind. So then we travel up the pyramid and we get to the top, and that's where we are really spending time delighting the patient. And we're surprising them, and we're kind of doing the Steve Jobs thing where we're giving them stuff that they never even knew that they wanted or needed. And that's where we really hit the mark. That's where we really get to that level of service where when they leave and they tell their story, they're like, oh my gosh, I would never go anywhere except Baptist. And if you ever need any kind of healthcare need, you got to go to Baptist. Like, don't even consider the competition. Okay, that's where we want to get. We want to get to that top of the pyramid. So what does that look like? What does that look like in just everyday hospital life? Oftentimes it's the non-clinical stuff. Oftentimes it's just spending an extra moment with the patient. Oftentimes it's free, the stuff that you can do. We actually had one employee, she was in the waiting room, it's like my favorite name, the waiting room. And she noticed this gentleman at the vending machine. And he was looking at the vending machine but not ordering anything or putting his money in. So she just went up to him and she said, can I help you find something? And he said, well, I'm looking for Fig Newtons. I always eat Fig Newtons with my coffee every morning. And she said, well, I don't see any in here. So she could have just stopped there. And maybe if she was on the first 2 levels of service, she may have just said, I don't see any either. There's a vending machine a couple floors down. You may want to check there. We have a cafeteria on the ground level. You might check to see if they have Fig Newtons. She could have done that. But what she did is she said, you know what? I feel for this man, and I really want to get him a package of Fig Newtons. So she did. She went and she bought a package of Fig Newtons, brought Fig Newtons back to this gentleman who was there over, a few days. He was so delighted. He was so excited. And he said, I really want to give you a hug to show you how much I appreciate these Fig Newtons. He said, but I haven't shaved for days, so I'm not going to give you a hug because that would scratch your face. What did she bring him next? A shaving kit. Okay? He didn't have to ask for any of that. He just sort of was thinking out loud, Fig Newtons, I need to shave. He was just sort of thinking out loud, and she paid attention enough to meet those needs. So physically she gave him Fig Newtons and a shaving kit. What did she give him on a higher level? What did she give him from an emotional standpoint? Compassion, good. What else? Satisfaction, for sure. What else? Yeah, reassurance. Care. She gave him his routine back. I mean, how many of y'all are routine people? Like, you drink your coffee every morning. I don't know if you eat Fig Newtons, but he did. Like, that was part of his routine. When you're in the hospital, what happens to your routine? Goes out the window. So she gave that back to him. Very simple thing, but meant a lot to him. And then she gave him his dignity. He said, I really want to give you a hug. Like, he's a hugger. You know the type. The Olafs. I like warm hugs. Okay, so he wanted to give a warm hug. And he said, I'm not going to do this. And then she was able to meet that need too, so that he could show appreciation in the way he wanted to. So what's interesting, he was in there with his wife. So his wife was the patient, he was the guest. And we tell this story a lot because we think it has, some good examples of getting to this delighted phase. So we tell this in orientation, and we had a new employee, and she was sitting way in the back, and she raised her hand. She said, oh, that was my grandfather. We were like, what? She said, yeah, my grandparents were here for my graduation. She was graduating from a similar program that you're in. And she said, yeah, that's really one of the reasons I decided to work for Baptist Health, because I thought, gosh, if they take such great care of my grandparents like they did, they're bound to take care of their employees too. I want to be a part of that. And so, like, we not only took care of the patient, took care of the guest with Fig Newtons, we recruited an employee. We're like, this is so cool. The domino effect that you can have when you reach that delighted level is unbelievable. So we were real excited about that. It does not always look like that. I mean, oftentimes it is doing those things that when you think about a patient's perception, you are meeting their needs, you're anticipating their needs. You don't have to buy them Fig Newtons. Like, I don't want you to leave here thinking, I got to spend my own money on these people. You don't. Take some extra time to get to know the patient and see what they need. See what you can offer them. Just talk to them. Just get to know them and make that connection. That's going to be the best thing to do. We have 3 steps of service. These are actually in your Credo card. And it's called Baptist Health Amazing Experience. So we want to make sure that we're greeting people warmly. So why are greetings important? Yeah, it's that first impression. I had a communication professor, and first night of class in my master's program, he said the greeting is the most basic form of human interaction. If we don't get that right, we can't get to the big stuff. So he was like, every class, y'all need to greet me. Like, that's an expectation. So what did we do every class? We greeted them so we could get to the big stuff. So we want to make sure that that is a warm interaction. Do our patients want to be with us? Do they want to be in the hospital? No? Okay, so first day, let's get this clear. Our population of our customers, do not want to be with us. No offense to us, we're fantastic. They just don't want to be in the hospital, okay? So we want to make sure that that interaction is as warm as possible, that we were making it the best experience that it can possibly be. Be responsive to people's needs and exceed those expectations when you can, and then provide a genuine handoff. So when you are handing that patient off to one of your colleagues, make sure that that information is shared and that that handoff is closing the loop, okay? Someone mentioned before the word always, and I just want to kind of throw in just the idea of consistency. When we survey our patients and we ask them about their experience, one of the surveys, the top box response is always. And so that means that it happened every time with every individual that they came in contact with, on every shift, every day, every unit, every facility. So when we think about trying to reach this culture of always, when you have a best practice of something that you do that works, that's consistent, make sure that you are doing it on an always basis. Because one slip can drop it down to usually. Yeah, it usually happens. And even if it's just 1% of the time, that 1% could be with your loved one who's in the hospital. So we really want to make sure that we're consistent with all of those great things that we do. So what happens when we get it wrong? Because things are going to happen, and we're going to have complaints that are delivered to us by patients or by family members. usually by family members. So if you are in a situation where someone comes to you with a complaint, we have a service recovery model called LAST. Now you may have a problem-solving method that you use that has worked for you, and that's wonderful. Use your own wisdom. If not, this is a model that you can use, and it's just an easy acronym to remember. Healthcare needs more acronyms, right? We need more. So this is one that we offer you. So the L stands for listen. So when a complaint comes to you, first step is just to hear them out. Just hear their story. Sometimes this is all they really want. They just want to be heard. So you want to just listen actively to their story. A stands for apologize. So you want to make sure that you're saying, I'm really sorry that this happened. Whether it's your fault or your teammate's fault. Okay, going back to the sports teams, we don't blame the quarterback for not catching that ball. I will learn someday. We take ownership for it, and we say, I'm really sorry that happened. The S stands for solve. What do you think the easiest way is to solve someone else's problem? Yep, listening to them. What would you might ask them? Yeah. What do you want to see done here? How can we solve this for you? What would make this better for you? Because I think oftentimes we get to the S, we get to the solve, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to do this and that, and go up the chain of commands and ask all these supervisors, when really all we have to do is say, what do you want out of this situation? What would make this better for you? And a lot of times what they say is very reasonable and very doable. So we want to ask them. Studies show that when a customer has a problem, if that problem is identified and corrected, they're 50% more likely to return to that organization. Okay, so that's pretty good stat. That number jumps to 85% more likely to return if the problem is solved timely. So the timeliness of that resolution bumps us up a lot in terms of the likelihood of loyalty of that customer. So we want to make sure that we are taking ownership for that and saying, yeah, I'll take care of it for you. I'll do it. And then we want to thank them. We want to thank them? Help me out with this one. Why do we want to thank them for complaining? Okay, so we're thanking them for feedback, which is always a good thing because that helps us do what? Improve. Yeah, get better, okay? So if we didn't know, then we couldn't improve. And really when someone comes to us with a complaint, it's about 10 persons strong because studies show that 9 people with the same problem are probably not going to say anything about it. Okay, so 9 people have the same issue, but they're just not vocal about it. But there's that one person who is vocal and comes to us and says, this is an issue. So you're really solving that problem for 10 people plus everyone else in the future. So you want to say, thank you for bringing this to our attention and allowing us to correct this. All right, so we're going to watch a short video and then we're going to close. Any questions or comments as we move forward? This is a real short video. All right. So people are very complex, and in healthcare we get the honor of working with them at their most vulnerable time. So I wish you the absolute best in your education, and hope to see you at the hospital when you come over for clinicals. I believe your next speaker will be here at 1 o'clock, so you have a little bit of a break. Dana's going to be with you, and let me tell you, you will love Dana. She's fantastic.
I'm here.
Hi, Dana.
We can take a break or keep going, whatever they want to do.
What would you all like to do? Keep going, Dana. Come on up. I'm glad to see you. I'm good. How are you?
It was very minimal.
Does anyone else need a Credo card before we leave? Okay. I know.
The whole time I was like, okay, I know.